Welcome to the third session of the QI Essentials QI Bitesize series. This session looks at the second question of the model for improvement, which asks, how will we know that a change is an improvement, i.e. what data are you collecting, what are you measuring in order to evaluate the changes that you're making. This session is called Family of Measures. My name's Sid Beach, and I'm the QI training lead at CLCH, part of the wider quality improvement team who are here to support all improvement in the organisation. The aim for me for this session is to explain to you the different types of measures, the three different types of measures that are used commonly in healthcare improvement. And what I'd like for you to take away from this is to have some awareness of what are called the family of measures, the three different types of measures, and to understand why it's important to collect a variety of data to inform QI work. So if you haven't already, I'd encourage you to go back and watch the first two videos of this series, which is how to improve and setting an aim. This session focuses on that second question of the model for improvement. How will we know that a change is an improvement? In effect, what data are you collecting to be able to say whether you've objectively made an improvement to patient care? So the family of measures is a tool used to make sure that we're representing the change from all perspectives, really, so that we're not just getting tunnel vision and focusing on one thing, but we've got a well-rounded worldview of the improvement work that we're doing. So there are three different types of measures in the family of measures. The first is known as the outcome measure, and this is, I would say, the most important measure. This is the one that every improvement project will have, and it's linked to your SMART aim. So it's the thing that you want to improve. It's how you measure that. So if I want to reduce the number of falls on a rehab unit, I need to measure the number of falls on that rehab unit. If I want to improve patient satisfaction with the service, I need to measure patient satisfaction with the service. If I want to reduce, as was in the previous video, the percentage of community-acquired grade 2 pressure ulcers in Hertfordshire, then I need to measure the number of grade 2 pressure ulcers in Hertfordshire. So that's the outcome measure. It's the thing that's linked to your SMART aim. It's the thing that you want to improve, and it's how you measure that. And every improvement project will have one. The second measure is known as a process measure. And this is looking at, or these are looking at, the processes that are in place in your improvement project or in the system that you're working in. Often it's linked to the changes that you're making, and it's looking at the uptake of those changes. So if you're implementing a care plan, then it might be the usage of that care plan. It might be the documentation in that care plan. If you're looking at providing some sort of training to upskill staff, then you might look at the number of staff or the percentage of staff that you're trained. These are examples of process measures. Most projects will have at least one or two process measures. The third type of measure in the family of measures is known as a balancing measure, and not every project will have one of these. Balancing measures look at the unintended consequences of your improvement work or the knock-on effects. So if you're looking at let's say, the pressure ulcers in a rehab unit, you may get patients out of bed more frequently in order to reduce the prevalence of pressure ulcers. But in doing so, there is potentially a risk of increasing the falls rate. So whilst our outcome might be to reduce the pressure ulcers in the rehab unit, the falls rate may increase as a result of our intervention. So it's important to capture both of these to make sure that we're not, whilst we're improving one thing, making something else much worse. Like I said, not every improvement project will have a balancing measure, but most will. And if you can think of one, it's important to include it, just so that you've got that well-rounded view of your improvement work. So, three different types of measures: outcome, process, and balancing, all really important to think about when designing your improvement project. And if you're struggling with this, it's important to remember that there are improvement specialists in CLCH, the quality improvement team, and a network of people out there who are well versed in QI who can help advise you on these if you can't think of them yourself. Next steps for you are to watch the next video, which is about selecting changes, answering that third question from the model for improvement.